Guys, so we are starting a new unit today. We've been measuring time and now we're going to be measuring length. Now, as you saw in the video before this, length is how long or how short something is. So it's not how tall, but how long something is, or two very different things. So what we're going to be doing is we're going to be learning how to measure length using what's called non-standard measurement, or basically if we don't have a ruler or we don't have a tape measure, we're able to still measure things by using objects that we do have. So what we're going to do is we're going to learn how to measure length using these non-standard units. So again, length is when you measure an item from end to end, the whole entire way, and it determines how long something is. So for example, from this red dot to this red dot would be how long this guitar is, and from this red dot to this red dot is how long the gift is. Now, rule number one when measuring length is you want to label the unit of measurement. So, what did you use to measure it? So, for example, if I'm measuring this ladder, I measured it with shoes. So, it took 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 shoes to measure this ladder. So, this ladder would be 6 shoes long. If I just said six potatoes, six elephants, six paper clips. I'm not sure. And so if I say that it's 6 shoes long, that's more specific and you know exactly how I measured it. The other thing with measuring length is you have to use the same unit of measure. That means if I'm measuring this pencil using paper clips, all the paper clips have to be the same size. If they're not, it's not going to be even. If one was bigger than the others or one was smaller than the others, it wouldn't be an accurate measurement. So this pencil, the length of it would be 5 paper clips long. Rule number 3 for length was when you're measuring it, you got to begin at the end of an item. So that means you start right here at the end. If you start somewhere in the sides or in the middle, you're not going to get the full length of the object. You have to start at the very, very end and go all the way where each piece is measured or each piece is touching to the very other end. So the length of this gift would be 5 cubes long. Now notice there's no gaps in between these. They're going from end to end. There's no spaces. If we have spaces, it won't be an accurate count. The other rule is we have to make sure what we're using to measure the length of something should be in a straight line. If I'm trying to use these popsicle sticks to measure my rug, well, if I don't put it in a straight line, if one's kind of crooked, one zigzag, one goes in different directions, again, it won't be an accurate measurement because it's not fully measuring the entire length of the rug. So this rug would be the length of 7 craft sticks or 7 popsicle sticks. The other thing with measuring length is that the unit we are using to measure should touch but not overlap. So for example, if I'm measuring this fork using these pennies, the pennies are all touching. There's no spaces between, but they're not on top of each other. They're not overlapping. They're perfectly side by side to measure our fork. That way we know the exact measurement and length of our fork. And in this case, this fork is 8 pennies long. Now let's try some challenges together to see if we can figure out how to measure the length of some objects. So number one, and we're not going to turn and talk because we're by ourselves, and that's okay. But what is length? Well, length is measuring how long something is. Okay. Now look at this car being measured by these paper clips. Is this measurement correct? It's not, because look at that paperclip. It's so big. It's not the same size as the rest of the paperclips. So this isn't accurate. We don't know exactly how many paperclips it is because they're all different sizes, and that doesn't make it fair or even to measure it correctly. What about this carrot? Is it measured correctly with the pennies? Yeah, absolutely. They're starting from end to end, they're not overlapping, and it finishes on the right spot. So this is measured correctly. What about this measurement? Is it measured correctly? Again, yeah, it started from end to end. There's no spaces. This has been measured correctly. What about this? No, this is not measured correctly because look, they left a gap at the front of the truck. They didn't start putting any cubes here, so we don't know how long the truck is. We know how long the truck is from this part of it to this part, but we don't know how long the whole thing is. So this isn't measured correctly. Is this flip flop measured correctly? Yes, it is, because again, the cubes go from end to end and they're put in the right exact spot.